What's up, you guys? It is Brantzen, and tonight we're playing 5-5 at the Gardens. Hopefully we can give away some money. So, hit the intro.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing is that I just don't like till, you know. Alright, we got the flush. Okay, he's got a set of eights. We got him. Hold.
Tell him he's got a lot of class, and it's all low.
Last video I said I'd give 20% of my profits from my next winning session to 2 subscribers, so here we are, and get ready for a bit of a wacky session. I'm playing 5-5 at the Gardens. I buy in for $500, and the first hand of the vlog is Queen King off in the hijack. The under the gun and low jack limp, I opened to $30. Then to my dismay, the small blind 3-bets to 105. Since I'm not suited, I'm ready to throw my hand away. But then the low jack calls. I've already seen this guy limp call numerous times with some pretty marginal hands, but I still thought he would have folded to a 3-bet. I guess his cowboy hat gives him the superpower of calling any raise pre-flop. Now the odds have changed for me though. It's $75 more for me to call to win a pot of $320. I'm in position, so I decide to see a flop which comes queen, deuce, jack with 2 hearts. The small blind shoves for a giant stack, the cowboy folds, and it's on me. I have $370 left in my stack, and the small blind has quite a bit more. I think about what the small blind has that could beat me. Aces, kings, ace-queen, a set? Given the fact that both the cowboy and I only had a little more than the pot left in our stacks, I would think any of these hands would want to make sure they got action if we connected with the board in any way. I'm not sure he would just want to shove right away with any of these hands and give us the chance to escape. So I check my cards to see if I have the king of hearts. I don't. For some reason, I have a strong sense he's making this move with ace-king of hearts specifically, a strong draw that he wants to take down now but wouldn't mind a call. I take a deep breath, hope I'm right, and make the call. Turn 2 of clubs, river 5 of clubs. He turns over ace-king of hearts. We were right, and I table the winner. Next hand, I pick up ace-queen of diamonds in the small blind. There's 1 limper, and the button opens to $25. I should be well ahead of the button's range here, so I 3-bet to $100. It folds back to the button, who calls, and the flop comes out ace-king 4 with 2 hearts. I feel pretty confident about my hand here, and I down bet to $60. He makes the call, and the turn comes out the jack of diamonds, bringing 2 diamonds on the board. Now I have top pair, the nut flush draw, and a gut shot. My question is, what would you guys do here? I personally decided to check, and here's why. First, this jack brings in a lot of hands that are ahead of mine: ace jack, king jack, queen 10, pocket jacks. If I bet and he has any one of these hands, he'll most likely raise or shove all in since the board is so wet. If he doesn't have one of these hands, then I'm most likely way ahead, and I doubt I'll get him to call 3 streets of value anyway. So I check, he checks, and the river brings an offsuit 7. I'm pretty sure I have the best hand here now, so I bet $140 trying to target a weaker ace or possibly a king, but he folds and we take it down. Put on your wacky hats because I'm taking you guys for a wild ride. I pick up the Doyle Brantzen 10 deuce of diamonds in the cutoff, and I know what you're thinking. Brantzen, you're always telling us to stay disciplined and have solid ranges pre-flop. Yeah, I don't know why I give you guys an English accent, but I see the button ready to fold, and the dark side of me starts telling me to raise. Do it. So I open to $20 and only the big blind calls. The flop comes out jack 7 for rainbow. Naturally, we miss with our premium holding and the big blind checks. The board is pretty dry, so I put in a small c-bet to $15 and he quickly calls. The turn comes a 3 and does not improve us at all. The big blind checks and we are not about to win with 10 high, so I continue betting, trying to represent a jack or an overpair. I bet $45 and now he thinks for a solid 30 seconds before making the call. I don't think he has a strong hand, but I also think he's mentally committed to the hand now, so I plan on giving up on the river. That is, until the river comes an ace. When he checks to me, I think this is the single best river to try to continue bluffing. He should almost never have an ace, so I could still value bet a jack or an overpair, and if I was bluffing earlier, there's a good chance I would have an ace here. So I go for the third barrel and I bet $95. He's thinking about it. I have 10 high and a dream here, folks, but he eventually makes the call with King 7 off. No. Let's play a real hand this time, and I pick up pocket jacks in the hijack. The +1 player opens to $20. He's been opening really wide, so I put in a 3-bet to $60. Then the button raises to 200. The +1 player calls, and it's back on me. As pretty as pocket jacks are, I don't know if it's wise to call this 4-bet. Most likely the button has a bigger pair than me, or best case scenario, ace-king. I let my hand go. The flop comes out king 4-7, and both players go all in. The +1 player somehow shows up with sixes, which is a shock to me, and the button wins with ace-king. Results-wise, it was a good fold, and we only lost $60. Next hand, I have ace-5 of diamonds in the small blind. The under the gun opens to $20, and the cutoff calls. Ace-5 suited is a good 3-bet bluff candidate, and I have some bad intentions here, so I raise it up to $100. Only the under the gun calls, and the flop comes queen 8-5 with 2 spades. I have bottom pair, but I'm going to keep repping a big hand like king queen, ace queen, or an overpair, and I bet $80. He makes the call, and the turn comes the deuce of hearts, bringing a second flush draw. I look over at his stack and see he has a little less than $400 left. I want to put pressure on a lot of his pocket pairs like nines through jacks, and I bet $200, more than half his stack. Basically, this bet is saying that I'm going to force him to commit his whole stack by the river. He thinks for over 30 seconds, but unfortunately makes the call. After thinking for so long, I think he has a pocket pair that he's now committing himself to, so I'm ready to give up unless I hit an ace or a 5. In the words of Mariano, quoting the words of Wolfgang, bang! We hit a 5! Like I said, he pretty much committed himself on the turn unless he has a missed flush draw, so I go all in for his remaining $190. He looks pretty defeated and says, I think he was expecting to lose to a queen or overpair, so my ace-5 must be a pretty big slap in the face. Sorry, man. Moving on, I pick up queen 9 of spades in the cutoff. The under the gun +1 and low jack limp. No limping allowed when I have a hand, so I make it $30. The button and both limpers call. The flop comes 9 jack 7 with 2 spades. I flop a pair and a flush draw, and the +1 player decides to lead out for $30. The low jack folds, and I'm not letting this guy take charge of my pot with such a wimpy bet, so I take back the control and I raise to $100. The button folds, and the +1 player calls, and the turn is an offsuit ace. He checks, and this turn is a good one to keep barreling, as any of my ace-high flush draws that I might raise on the flop now have top pair, so I bet $205. Sure enough, he says, I didn't like that ace, and folds. I pick up a pretty standard but sizable pot with ace-king where I bet the flop and got called, bet the turn, got called, bet the river, they fold, and we take it down. Okay guys, get ready to see some of Brantzen's patented acting moves. We pick up pocket 8s, the lucky snowman in the big blind. The +1 player limps, the cutoff opens to $25, I make the call, and the +1 player makes the call as well. 3 ways to a flop, which comes 10-10-3 rainbow, and I check as I would do with any hand. It checks around, and the turn is a jack. My hand has showdown value, but can't really beat anything that connects with the board, so I check, and the +1 player checks as well. The cutoff then bets $25, and it's on me. $25 is quite a small bet in relation to the pot, so I doubt he has a jack or a 10. He could have a draw or a random bluff just because he knows we just checked to him twice. Here's my problem. My hand isn't good enough to raise. I definitely don't want to bloat the pot if I'm wrong and I'm actually losing. I also don't really want to face a difficult river bet. So here's what I do. I pretend like I'm grabbing raisin chips, and then I pause, and then I just make the call. I want to make him think that I'm going all Trappy Trapperson on him, and hopefully it'll make him proceed with caution on the river. The +1 folds, and the river comes a 9. I check. My tactic worked because he checks back, and I take it down with the snowman. Ending the night, I pick up aces on the button. The hijack opens to $15, and I 3-bet to 45. Everyone folds, and soon after that, I racked up and secured the win. Yeah, that was a pretty lucky session. Yeah, I was in for 500 and out for 1731 for a profit of 1231. This was actually the giveaway stream, so 2 people are each getting $123. Congrats to them. I don't know who they are yet, but I'll pick the winners tomorrow. By the time this video comes out, they will have already been picked. All right, I'll see you in the next one.